City are still alive here. Balotelli, Aguero! Special beyond special.
Best player in the Premier League.
Captain Marvel. Drogba! Rooney! Oh, wonderful! That is one Derby diamond.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's match day.
Welcome to Clash of Clubs' second in-person video. I'm Dylan with Mila and
Darius.
I wasn't sure to call you Heelbite or not, so
Yeah, let's
go with Darius so that I don't get confused. I'm not editing that out later. So, in today's episode, we're going to talk about Poochester and
all things Poochester.
Yeah, it's more of a therapy session, if anything. But we're going to talk about what players need to go, and then the positions that need to be filled after those players are gone, and then which players are going to fill them. And since there's two Manchester United fans, let's start there. Did you want to talk Garnacho and Rashford first? Is that on the top of your mind?
I'm down with that. Yeah, I just
Okay.
feel like it's the top of the subject. Everything United.
I've already said in previous episodes I will never say that Rashford should leave. So I can't go back on my word.
I'm gonna go back on it, honestly.
Okay.
But it's not for like the reasons where like the negative reasons that a lot of people say he should leave. I think it's for him and for United. I don't know. I feel like the club has treated him so poorly, on top of how he's not like an outward spoken person all the time.
No.
Or really ever. So, I mean, people misconstrue his body language and misconstrue everything that he puts out, and they're like, oh, he doesn't care about the club, but he's done so much for the club over the years, and he's in the top 10 all-time scorers.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And he was overused as well, I think.
He played through a broken back for
exactly.
the majority of that run.
And any other club would be happy to have him. I just don't want him to go anywhere in the league.
Yeah, that can happen.
Yeah.
It's in United's best interest, and he wants to leave. He came out and publicly said it. So I guess I can talk about that. It's tough because he's like the only United project or an academy player that we're gonna see that's gonna be young or that was older than us. Like from here on out, it's everyone's younger, so it's just this weird like they're children, and I don't know if I can get back like hyping up children anymore. Like it's just it's a weird one. Yeah, he can't go to the league. Anyone in the league would be a disservice.
It would be absolutely it would be blasphemous if the United board, after all the slack that they've been getting, go on to get rid of him in the league. And we've talked about it before. I think it's probably going to have to be like a Germany or...
I think it's going to be Bayern or PSG.
That's what I'm thinking. That's exactly the two teams I was thinking. But I just don't see Spain at all in the picture for him, just because he wouldn't go to one of the teams that honestly don't deserve him. And then it's just Real, Atletico, and
I thought I heard Barca. I don't know. I saw something about him in Barca.
I mean,
They're gonna lose Olmo in January.
yeah.
Are you serious?
They can't even
They
register
might,
him.
They might.
That's
Apparently,
crazy. I
with
didn't hear about this.
Christensen, if they get rid of Christensen, they can get Olmo registered. But I don't know.
That's ridiculous.
Wow.
I mean, if I'm being realistic with the new system and the new manager, I think both should go, because I don't think either of them necessarily fit.
Garnacho fullback,
I don't think Garnacho should like completely go. I feel like alone, and give him the rest of the season, and then if he continues this kind of, I don't know, because people talk about Rashford's off the field antics. I don't see him.
Garnacho's has been worse.
But
I
see Garnacho's off the field antics. I can't stop seeing them. It's such an interesting shift. It's like people are looking at something completely different than I'm looking at. It feels like.
I agree with that. It's because his skin tone is different than Garnacho's.
Yeah.
If we're being completely honest,
Yeah.
it's because he's not white and he plays for Manchester United. Like every other, I mean, this is like Beckham level scrutiny in a team that's way underperforming. So I don't know. It's disappointing.
That people talk about, oh, he hasn't been good for 2 years. Name a United player that's had a consistent like performance over the past 2 seasons. Like we've been shit.
I was gonna say I can't genuinely can't.
United has been shit for the past 2 years. For the past I don't know how many years, but Like, that's just like such a cop out to me. I see so many comments saying stuff like that.
He's still 27 or about to be 27.
Yeah.
He's not even 27.
Like, exactly.
Yeah, Ian Wright said that he went to Arsenal at 28, and that. Okay, yeah, we had to take a small break because the battery died. But we're back. Anyways, we were talking about Garnacho and Rashford.
Yes. We talked about Rashford earlier and how we don't think he'll stay in the Premier League if he does go. We said possibly PSG or Bayern. With Garnacho, I don't know if that is such the case with him because he's also just not played for United as long. This doesn't mean as much, I feel like. I don't think he'll go to a big competitor, but I could kind of see him go into like a...
Send him to Las Palmas.
Las Palmas.
I don't know. I think he should go somewhere character building. He needs some
You're trying to say he needs to
direction.
grow up.
Yeah,
Without
100%.
saying it.
100%. He needs some guidance.
Look, he's a spark and he's talented and I can see it. I just don't know if it's going to happen at United, and I don't know if it should. I'm closer to him being gone. I'd rather see him leave than Rashford. That's obviously biased talking, but it's the attitude and the lack of progression in his talent that I'm worried about. Like, you'd think that with the amount of game time that he's had, that his decision making would get better, but it's only gotten worse.
I think the amount of game time he's had is kind of the part of the problem, honestly. Because I think we were seeing a very productive version of Garnacho when he was coming off the bench.
Yeah.
For long periods of Ten Hag's first season. And then the second season, he was just so overused, I thought, that it kind of burnt him out a little bit.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I just feel like that's part of the problem. There's obviously multiple issues with his position at United right now, and his brother, I think, is a big issue.
Yeah, that
people
guy's
don't
really
talk
rad.
about enough.
He's got to be the
I
league,
think
right?
he's the league.
Yeah.
I don't know, in my opinion, but
Whether he knows that it's his brother or not is a different story.
yeah.
I
don't see how else he would. I don't know.
For a new manager to come in and already complain about his work rate or whatever it is in training is alarming to me, because I don't know any other young player in any league playing for a club of that size that would have a work rate issue or a training issue. Like, if you're not performing in training, look, Anthony's making fucking squads and he's playing and he's terrible. So like, how is Garnacho not fitting?
Anthony seems more bought in than Garnacho at
That's
this
the
point.
thing.
That's
a
big problem.
It's buying in, I think, and Garnacho has not bought in. But it seems like there's a little more leeway for him in the squad to buy in than it is for Rashford, who seems like he's just completely
100%.
out.
That's fair.
100%.
If someone came to United and said, "Hey, here's 80 million for Garnacho," it's gone,
Take
right?
it.
He's
Yeah,
gone,
yeah, you take it.
right?
It's
That-
not
that-
even a
No one's gonna
not a
get-
developed product yet.
so then
you
I
have
guess
to-
the
you have to
better
take that.
the better question is, what is the threshold? What amount of money becomes too little for Garnacho? Is it 60?
I'd
Like-
take 64.
I think 55 is probably
55?
the lowest you go.
I
It
don't know.
would probably have add-ons too. There's no way you just take 55 and go, okay.
With a sell on.
Yeah, he's too young for you to just be like taking a fee for him in that case.
Yeah, that's fair. I think 60 is about where my cutoff is. Like, if someone was to give me 60 for Garnacho, I'd be like, yeah, see ya, because you can get multiple productive players for 60 in today's market.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, let's switch to what other positions are of need for United. I mean, we could say the whole squad, but realistically, they're not going to have the money to buy that many players, right? So you have to pick and choose where that's going to come from.
Left back.
I think, yeah, I think you could
left side,
argue
yeah, wing back.
both wing backs are important.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Mazraoui does a job in any position he plays, but we have no depth there at all. I think Malacia's coming back steadily, but I don't know if I don't know if he can do the job at wing back at least. I think he's a better just straight up left back than wing back, because I don't really see too much from him going forward either. He's like okay defensively, not very good going forward, so I don't really.
No, I agree with that. I think the left wing back is the one position where if they were to spend money in January, it's that position that needs to be addressed first, because Dalot it clearly isn't fitting the system, and it's
I was confused because I thought the system would fit him pretty
perfect,
well.
right?
He's shit at defending, but good going forward, and now he just has no decision making at all.
Yeah.
It's so hard to buy a fullback in January, though.
It is. But
Yeah, I know who you want.
we'll talk.
Yeah.
There's a couple that I have in mind, but I think that's the one position that United need more than any position maybe. The other one that I think is like a necessity right away is another 10. Just because I think it allows you to do stuff with Ahmed at right back, where he's already seen that he can play that wing back position, and I know Ahmed is successful in the 10 and he can be very good there, but I think for this season and defining success for this season, it might have to be at that wing back if you are able to get in another 10.
Do you think Amarim has any, like a proper 10 in his system right now? Because I don't think he does. I think everything. There are people that can do a job in that system, like you were saying, but nothing that he like specifically wants to operate. But I want to hear from you guys about that.
For me, Ahmed's the only one that fits the 10. I think he's played there before at Atalanta, so it makes sense. And you can tell like he progresses the ball well. He takes on a ton of players. I think he definitely leads United in successful take-ons and dribbles. But I bet you in the Prem, if you were to look at it from a per 90 minutes basis, he's probably in the top 5 for sure. So he's the only one that's got like a direct fit there.
I mean, I think Mount fits it, but he's made of glass.
Yeah, he's gonna have to go as well.
Yeah,
which sucks. But yeah,
I mean, he could never.
He literally can't stay fit. Yeah. It's the same thing with Shaw. You got 2 players that are English and just carrying a ton of weight and can't get in this side. It's the reason that United haven't been able to progress further than crap. So those are the 2 ones for me that are like must needs, and I would be okay with them overspending in January to make that happen. If there was a third position for me, it would be striker. I think that I'm not sold on Xerxes, and Højlund's been a disappointment for me, and I'm not sure if those 2 strikers can get you to potentially Champions League, because that's what the goal should be, is trying to get into a Champions League spot, whether that's in Europa or in the Prem. You got to try to get there, because if United don't have that spending power and we're United and we have Champions League football next year, I don't know what direction they can really head other than here's a bunch of youth players and let's hope that this works.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I'm okay with Højlund. I'm not convinced with Xerxes at all. I think he does a job coming off the bench, and I mean, I'm not sure it's worth the money we paid for him.
He looks.
But
sorry, keep going.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay with Højlund. I just think we need someone to kind of show him the ropes, or just give him some paired up. Which, I mean, we could talk about the signings later, but I think Osimhen would be perfect for that.
Yeah, I do too.
But yeah, what were you gonna say, Mila?
I think with Xerxes, like, he definitely has some talent, but he just looks so positionless in your guys' system. Like, there's really no fit for him, I think.
He's almost better suited as a 10. Like, even when he's playing in the striker position, he's dropping deeper than the 10s.
But then
which
you
isn't
get someone better than Xerxes in that 10 position.
Yeah, no.
Is the issue there.
It's weird because it feels like Ineos, and whether they decided, the thing with Ashworth is like, if you were going to go with Amarin this whole time, if that was the position you wanted to take, and maybe this is why Ashworth was fired, then why did you make all these signings that were tailored towards a Ten Hag system? Like, Xerxes is a Ten Hag striker. Like, he's a better version of Weghorst. You're really looking at it, he's a technical Weghorst. The dude's 6'4", and he can't, like, hold the ball. He can't compete with the top-end physical center backs in the league. It's just it doesn't fit, doesn't make sense to the system. He's the one signing this summer that doesn't have any purpose in any system that United were going for in the future. So it's just a confusing one. He may have talent. I just don't know if it's going to work in the Prem.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it could also be a confidence thing at this point. It's like you said, the signing doesn't make sense. But when you hear that in the media, it could be that it's just weighing on him a lot. Did you really hear of him before the move to United?
He was talked about because he was a Bayern project.
I remember him at Bayern, and I didn't really hear about him.
In Bologna, he made their team of the season. So there was that was the thing, is he was linked with United for a while, like all throughout that January window where it was like Højlund wasn't fit, and then he was starting to figure out form is when it started to die out again. Mm-hmm. But then they brought him in, and it was like, oh, okay, like he's a good like counter to Højlund. Like, it's a different profile of striker, and this is how it's going to work. But when you're now playing in a system where the striker needs to do one specific thing, and that's score goals and that's get into channels, and he doesn't do either of those things, it's just such an odd, unfortunate fit for him. And I feel bad for him because it is fitting a square peg into a round hole in some sense. But yeah, let's switch over. Oh well, I guess to round that out, the three positions of need are probably a striker, a 10, and wing backs. And then in the summer, there would probably be something like center mids. I think
center mids are an issue because I feel like we still haven't addressed Casemiro.
Yeah, he's
Eriksen's aging out.
Yeah.
Mount's made of glass.
I just don't think that we're going to be able to get a productive midfielder in January.
I agree. Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for sure.
A summer. Yeah. Okay, so then let's switch gears to City. In terms of, I mean, it's going to be a clear out. I mean, this is a rebuild for Pep, right?
It's going to be a multi-year clear out, I think. But the positions that we need to get rid of first, right back. Like, I don't think Rico's going to be the starter. So once Kyle's out, we're definitely going to have to bring someone in.
I mean, yeah. So, I mean, Walker needs to go. I mean, there's probably an argument that a couple of the center backs.
I think.
Because who are you looking? I mean,
I think only Akanji and Stone stay from the center backs.
Like
the
Diaz goes too.
Or sorry, Akanji and Diaz.
Okay, so everyone else.
Stone's
okay.
Out.
The ones that can't stay healthy, right? Like that's kind of the bigger issue.
They like you guys were saying with Mount, like they're just made of glass now. And with this situation that we're in, it just keeps getting worse and worse. We keep asking these guys that are already injury prone to do more and come back injured, play with injections, and then they get more hurt and they age. Like it's not a good situation right now.
No.
I could definitely see a center back coming in January. I don't know who though. I don't think it would be an established one. Is the thing.
Yeah, no, you're not. I mean, you're definitely not getting one from the Prem. It'd have to come from somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think right back, center back.
I have a feeling that like the other position that's going to end up going, and well, obviously it's going to happen, is going to be KDB is going to leave. I think that happens this summer.
I think that's I don't see him renewing. There's no point to him renewing at this stage of his career.
I mean, it's just a different system because everyone kind of plays in this fluid, they can play anywhere thing. But like the Jack Grealish role is probably, from an outsider's perspective, that feels like a player that could be going that you would need to replace, that could be healthy and playing all the time. I don't know if you feel the same way. Like next year, if Jack Grealish is still with City, are you okay with that? Is that something that you would want? Like, would you rather cash in?
It kind of just depends on his role, but right now it just seems like they. I don't know. You didn't watch the last game? I'm assuming.
No, I didn't.
Early. But the past couple games, it's just been there's nothing on the right side, and then I've heard other City guys talking about it too. It's the left side is either Grealish or Nunes. They're isolating on the left side, and we have nothing on the right side. We have Bernardo doing fucking absolutely nothing. So when you have someone like Grealish who's really not going to do anything, he's not an output guy. Usually he's our ball retention guy, and we have the output guy on the other side.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's the issue, but he's definitely not the solution.
All right, dude. See you later.
Okay.
It's different because City's not in a space where like I'm like, oh, they need people to go to get better. It's more like they just need to buy dudes, because that's the thing is City hasn't bought players in a while where it's like made the difference.
On paper, yes, we need to buy people, and we have like a small enough squad where we don't really need to get rid of people. But I think complacency is starting to set in a bit.
Yeah.
Which is the one thing we've talked about.
It needs a shake up.
It does. Yeah, I think every team needs that though, and we've paid respect to some of the guys on the team for like way too long. And like we've been getting away with it. We got our 4 in a row. Wasn't the best season last year, but we still got that record breaking. So it kind of just paved up the cracks. Now we have the injury to a player like Rodri, and then you look around for people to like back him up or support him when he's gone, and it's all these old guys with no legs. Granted, a lot of people were happy with it in the summertime.
Yeah.
The Gundo signing, but I think we thought Gundo wouldn't be playing 90 minutes.
No.
Like, I honestly thought he'd be getting 60-minute cameos if he's starting, and then 30 minutes if he's coming off the bench, just to shore up games. But we have this old-ass guy in midfield with someone like Kovacic. They're not a good pairing at this point. So leading into that, that's my
Yeah.
next guy. It's the center mid that is going to be the next signing, I think.
Yeah, hindsight in 2020 is a bitch because like in the moment we were all like, man, they just got Gundogan back. Like that's amazing.
Without the
and
injury, yeah. With Rodri, it's good. Without Rodri,
For sure.
we didn't do enough. I think.
yeah, I mean, looking back at it now, you sold probably one of your youngest talents and you brought in older talent, right, outside of Savinho. But like there wasn't much movement, and so that just kind of led to this old aging squad that has won everything, and they get credit for doing that. But this fall off is so far that it's just like. You just have to kind of, you know.
It totally, like I've said, it's totally unavoidable. Like, it was avoidable, and we've put ourselves in this situation.
Yeah.
We were a little too happy with the scenario that we were in, and we thought we could get away with it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that probably goes back to the FA Cup final. Honestly, like, that was kind of the big talking point was like,
Yeah,
oh, we
they
were
were
drunk, we didn't care.
Hungover, like, bull fucking like,
Saying that you're
what the
hungover and you
hell?
don't care in a
Yeah.
derby, especially a final that's a derby, is like that's the mentality that's been a bigger issue, and that probably got swept under the rug because they won
part
four.
of that is
But
with fucking Kyle Walker as your captain. Bro.
yeah, we're
we've
a
talked
anti
about it,
Kyle
but, like,
Walker podcast.
Oh my god, how many proper captains would allow this bullshit? Like, if we were to lose to your fucking biggest city rival, your captain would not just brush it under the rug like that.
Yeah, probably not.
So, like, I don't know. Vinny wouldn't have done that. Fernandinho wouldn't have done that. Fucking Gundo wouldn't have even done that. And it's when he was actually the captain. I don't think he gets as much of a say this year, just because he's left and it's coming back. It's different. But
Yeah.
with Kyle Walker as the main guy, he's definitely my number one out. The right back is
Yeah.
not the key position, but just the main player I want out the squad is Walker.
I agree with that.
But yeah, so the three that I think we'll get in summer, we're going to try for a fullback.
You need a 6 more than anything.
Yeah, of course. We're going to get a
Midfielder.
We're not going to get a 6.
You guys have no midfield right now.
We will not buy a 6. I guarantee it. We'll probably buy an 8 or a 10 and try to teach him how to defend, which is what Pep likes to do.
Boo.
I know.
Who are the players that you would like to see go? Oh, like if you could just list them out. We totally forgot to do this with United, but we can switch back
Let me
and
bring
say it
this
really
back up.
quickly.
It's a lot.
And then we'll go after this. We've already said who
yeah.
we want to see leave.
in
and
the
then,
next 2-3 windows, I'd like to see Stones, Ake, Walker, Gundo, Grealish, McAtee, Nunes, gone, and then I think KDB, Ederson, and Ortega will also leave.
Okay. Yeah. I honestly think both.
I don't know what
goalkeepers
order.
might leave,
I
yeah.
don't think they can afford to get rid of 4 English internationals just for squad building reasons. I don't think all 4 of them will leave at one time.
No.
Because then you have to bring in English people.
You gotta, yeah.
And we already are.
Or you have to promote academy guys. Is that how that works? Or do you actually just have to have a certain number
homegrown. It's homegrown, or I believe, or English nationals.
Okay. Yeah. There's always
It's English nationals. I think it's like
Yeah, it's
like 1 or 2 home grads. Small amount of home grads.
You need 8 English
yeah,
players.
I think it's 8 English nationals. Yeah.
That's a really high amount, especially in today's day where guys are just moving all over the
You
place.
get it, though. It's the Premier League, dude.
Yeah, but you're always paying a premium for English guys. So it's like, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It'll happen. City's got the money. It's not like they can't spend it.
It's just we don't like to pay the premium a lot of the time.
Yeah, but now you're in a different thing because you didn't have to pay the premium because you were the best.
Yep.
Now you might have to pay the premium because now you're desperate.
Yeah.
Welcome,
So that's the first time that City's been. Yeah, I know.
Desperate for signings.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
definitely. But on the bright side, we haven't been spending stupid and sloppily, so we have money to spend.
Yeah.
As long as we don't get fined for whatever the
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But nobody's fucking talking about it since we're shit.
No, it's so much better when you guys
it's
are
okay.
shit because then I don't have to be upset about my club being
just
shit.
a campaign.
Clearly, yeah.
Yeah. I think we move on from there though.
Yeah.
City United.
Yeah. So okay,
people.
I'm gonna list off people and you just say yes or no.
Yeah.
Okay, Rashford.
Is there one between yes or no?
We'll go with a maybe.
Yeah, because Rashford, it's a unique situation. I think if he's bought in to come back, then I obviously will welcome him back. I'll actually just go with yes for him and for
Okay.
us. Yeah.
Garnacho.
Yes, loan.
Dalot.
Yes.
Casemiro.
Yes.
Eriksson.
Yes.
Mount.
Yes. But I mean, is this in January or because it's like there's so much?
Let's just go over
Say
like
the
the
next
next
two
two
to
to
three.
three.
2 to 3. Okay, yeah, then yeah, all of those.
Bruno Fernandes.
Never.
Okay, I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
But I was just curious.
Yeah.
Xerxes.
Yes.
Hoyland.
No.
Maguire.
No. Definitely not. Keep him.
I'm so far out on Maguire, but it's because I have PTSD flashbacks. He's pretty good in this system, but I just don't.
I've come around. I'm very bought into Maguire right now. I'm very happy with him.
Someone in the opposite form direction, Martinez.
Keep, yeah.
I think that's pretty much. Oh, Anthony's gone.
I
No, you guys are not back on the Anthony train.
I'm not back. I think-
just don't think he's gone.
I agree.
In the next 2 to 3 windows?
In the next 2 to 3 windows, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're probably right.
He has to. He has
This
to
next
be
window,
gone.
I think we keep him until summer, 100%.
Yeah, I don't think we have a choice. No one's
Yeah.
no one's buying
Yeah.
in January.
Yeah.
Is that? I mean, that's pretty much everyone that I can think of.
I mean, yeah, Malacia is gonna stay. He just came back from.
Oh,
injury.
Shaw. I just don't know if you can get
I
rid
think
of
we're
him
just
because
gonna
of
keep him.
fitness.
He's not gonna take a pay cut though. Like I don't know. We can't keep
No.
paying him like as much as we're paying.
No, because he gets to eat
Fat
fucking
and sits on the bench.
Twinkies.
I
Yeah.
think that yeah. There's no way.
I think that's everybody that I can think of that's like, in the squad.
Yeah, it's in the like kind of chopping block.
Everyone else that I didn't mention, I think, just needs to stay.
Lindelof gone.
Oh yeah, they're sure. Fuck,
Yeah.
I didn't even fucking forgot about
Johnny
him.
Evans.
I think Johnny Evans needs to go into a coaching role.
Yeah, I
relying
agree,
on
I
a
agree, I
37-year-old, even though he's been
I
class.
think we can keep him. I think he's good for the dressing room, but I think he can't be
Should be
starting.
your guys' Scott Carson.
Yeah, I'm with that. But he's a
Sure.
field player, so he ends up going in
Yeah.
more than Scott Carson would have to.
Fuck, he's been so
Scott
good.
Carson, like that's what I'm saying. Like he shouldn't play. He should be like
No.
there, but he should never play.
Yeah, no, that's not. That's him. Him playing and being our best player some games is that's not okay.
No, not at all.
Cool. Alrighty, so we'll stop here, and then in the next portion we'll jump into who these next players need to be.
All right.
Who the next Manchester City and Manchester United players need to be.
All right.
Okay, now we're gonna jump into which players need to be brought in January. Let's start with City this time.
Okay.
So the positions that we're gonna do are the 6 because you need a Rodri replacement or like a 6-8 and then a right back and you can talk about the backup striker thing if you'd like.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be. I think we're definitely gonna go for a backup striker. I'll go into that last though.
Okay. I think the position of most need is a Rodri type replacement because that midfield is getting overrun.
Definitely.
So then,
But I don't know. So the whole thing has been Bruno G and Zubimendi the past couple weeks, and then 2 days ago, like right before the game started, it came out that we're not going to go for them. So
not going to go for either of them.
yeah.
I mean,
So-
why is that?
I have no clue.
Okay, so it's just like a choice?
I don't know. Fucking Zubimendi has a release clause. So like why are we not going for him?
And he's fucking good, and he can play.
He's Rodri's backup.
I was gonna say,
It's
and
perfect.
he can play beside him. That makes the
yeah.
most sense to
I've
me.
heard
I don't
he's
know
a
why
little
that's not.
reserved on the move though because he's like, oh, what happens when Rodri gets back? And I've heard a lot of people
They
being
still
like,
have no midfielder.
yeah, they're like,
Why
I heard a
wouldn't
lot of
they-
people being like, oh, like fuck him then if he's thinking like that. We don't want that pussy in our club. Like, it's understandable. Like it's the Ballon d'Or winner, but I do agree with that to a certain extent where it's like you're not backing yourself to be in the team. And if that's the issue with the move, then we'll go find someone else to go do it.
I thought I saw a report that said that this summer, because of the Euros and everything that had happened, he wasn't ready for a decision to be made, and so then he was like standoffish because he was on vacation.
Well,
he
no,
was like,
no. That was he was going Liverpool bound in the summer though.
right. So, but
Yeah.
that's why he was not choosing a club
No, of course.
that wasn't staying just where he was at.
Yeah.
Okay, so like
I'm
not
talking now, like for this coming. Like I've heard he's a little
timid to the idea
timid to the
of being
idea of joining
Rodri's quote unquote
based
backup.
on when Rodri gets back. But that's a whole year from now. Like I tore his ACL.
I was
Like,
gonna
just go
say, that's
prove
the other
yourself
thing.
In my, like it's, just go play.
How many players have come back from ACL tears and immediately been like just thrown straight back into full 90s?
Exactly,
None of them.
yeah.
And if City did that, they'd be just as stupid because the likeliness of him getting re-injured is just way too high.
Again, yeah.
But he can also play beside him, and they're Spanish teammates. That makes so much sense in my head, and the fact that he didn't go to Liverpool in the summer that opened up the window for City to throw money at him makes sense. But
I think from a backup for Rodri standpoint, it definitely makes the most sense to go for him. But for what we need in the team, Bruno G just makes the most sense. It's the perfect player for what we need. We need someone that's gonna get fucking stuck in, like physical, can play a good ball to some of our other attacking players like Foden and Haaland. No one looks for Haaland and Foden right now.
No.
So we need someone that can be that deep lying playmaker, but also do the defensive stuff. And Zubimendi can do a lot of the technical stuff, but his defensive attributes are just not really up to par with Bruno G. But like I said, we're not going for either. So
that's so strange. I mean, he would be the catalyst type player that could really re-spark the enjoyment. I mean, that's kind of what Brazilians bring, is that flair and intensity, and it's kind of something that's been missing in the drive of the team. That also makes sense. He's going to cost $100 million.
He's a good engine too, though.
Yeah, he is.
He's really kind of keep that.
Like, is that a
tempo.
realistic guy in January though? Because
For City, yeah. I think for City, they can splash.
Like $100 million. He's going to cost $100 million. No way Newcastle lets him. He might be worth it
in today's market. I think if you're talking about any other club, it's difficult. City and Chelsea will just be like, fuck it.
But then again, like, they got 90 for Alvarez, right?
Yeah, we got 90. It'd be a 10 mil.
Point the mic at your mouth.
It
Sorry.
would be a 10 mil spend.
Yeah, sorry.
So yeah, like, I don't know. We definitely can't afford to go get him, and would Newcastle want to sell there with the PSR and where they're looking at in the table? Obviously, it's only a couple points, but it definitely would make sense to me for them to get rid of a Bruno G, get that big cash, and clear out the PSR bullshit.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't. I don't see a Premier. Like, that's the thing, and I had a problem with doing it for United as well. Is like, no Premier League club is going to give a direct rival.
No competition. Yeah, but they're not competing at this point. They're not even in the top half of the table right now.
But the difference between 5th and
I understand. Yes,
14th is 6
but they're
points.
They're out of Champions League football.
Currently, yeah.
It's looking like they're not going to make Champions League football. So if they don't make Champions League football with the PSR bullshit on top of that, who are they getting to play for their club? No one wants to play for Newcastle.
Miguel Almiron. I don't know.
They're definitely going to have to sell one of the big guys.
Yeah, I for me, it feels like Isaac is probably the one that leaves, just because he's probably got the. I don't know if it's the bigger of the ambitions, but his strikers are just more valuable.
He would command the most paid as well.
Yeah,
he definitely.
He's going to get the biggest fee.
But
he's probably 100 mil, maybe plus.
100 in this market, like 120.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. The two Swedish strikers are like the two most sought out ones that probably are coming out of the summer.
Gyökeres talk has calmed down fully. I haven't heard his name in weeks.
Yeah, because he's not playing under Amarim anymore.
Exactly.
And the team
I haven't
sucks.
heard of him in weeks though.
He's playing for Sporting. I mean, that's part of it. And when Sporting stink and you're playing in Portugal, like, the headlines just aren't going to be the same.
Price drop.
Yeah, it might be. Okay, so I mean, if apparently City aren't bringing in either of them, who is that option? Who is the 6'8" that comes in this January and changes it?
I've heard in January for midfielders is Reinders, and I don't think he fills the gap that we need.
Would they sell him? Like, he's so important to their team.
They're not doing good at all.
I know, but
they're not going to make fucking Champions League either at this point. It's like, it's the kind of the same situation minus the financial stuff with them. I don't think we get him, but if we can throw enough money at Milan, and I think it said we can like triple his wages, he's not going to say no. And we need him. So I just don't know if that'll fill all like the holes that we have right now.
No, I mean, the player that isn't being talked about because he's injured is Tchouaméni for me, that could potentially be on the move.
I've wanted Tchouaméni for a long time.
He's a 6. He could do some work as an 8. He's a physical monster. He's just been hurt
too for us if we need.
Yeah,
So
I think that would be an incredible signing. Madrid don't seem to be like over the moon about him.
They're not.
Which is incredible.
Clearly picked Camavinga over him.
And
it's like, you want to
I feel like they
stockpile?
flip-flop between those two.
They do. Neither of them are in favor
but
ever.
Ancelotti being the manager right now, I feel like he definitely favors Camavinga.
Yeah.
But you can't have all of them.
No, eventually
as much
someone's
as
going to be annoyed.
they want to have all the players. They cannot do that. So one of them's going to want to leave.
I mean, Chouameni seems like I don't know how much he
It's
costs,
just
but
impossible for us to be going, oh, he's injured. Let's go buy him.
yeah, I
Like,
know
we
that's
can't do that. It's impossible.
no.
I have no.
So
idea
so I guess the answer is question mark.
Calvin Phillips.
Oh god. Oh god. Okay. Well, was there a right back then? What January signings can they
I
make?
think it'll probably be a fullback.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily
right
a right
back.
back. I know we've talked about it a couple of times, but Anthony Robinson's a big one. Pep admires him a lot for years now, and I've heard we're linked to him. He's been playing really good for Fulham too. So
Yeah,
if there was ever a
awesome.
time for him to go on the move with both United and City linked to him, I feel like this would be the time for him to take that step in his career. I could also see us just getting like a young physical center back that can kind of play outside.
They can do both?
Yeah, a little bit of a hybrid, not so well known. And then, but the last thing I think for what we need to go for in January is striker. Who that is, I don't know. It's so hard to find someone to sit behind Holland. So it's either gonna have to be someone old, or someone very level-headed, or you're gonna have to play two strikers.
Yeah, there's no right answer. I know who we both want to say.
Oh yeah.
I think him leaving in January when you can just get him
That's
for
absurd.
free.
No.
That's the 9
We're
for me
talking
is
about
coming
Jonathan
in.
David.
Yeah,
but,
Jonathan David is definitely leaving, right, Lille, and so then you're competing with Barca and United.
The only thing
I love how you guys make it's like so obvious that you're talking about Jonathan David.
because it is that obvious to me.
I know. But it's
I
just
love him.
But with
He's so
him,
good.
I could. Lille are competing in the Champions League right now. It really depends on their expectations, I think. So, if he's leaving on a free, you have to. It depends how they gauge him, his price too. So if he's leaving on a free and they think he's worth way more than like free, obviously, like they're not comfortable just wiping him away, then they can take a little money for him in January.
Like 15.
Yeah, you probably could get like 30 in January.
You think
the
you
way
get
he's playing
30
right
mil
now.
for?
It depends
I don't
on
think.
who comes calling. If someone comes knocking, a city comes knocking, we need a player to fill that gap. He could definitely push down a little too and offer us some little help in the attacking midfield area.
I don't know,
So
but
I
30
don't-
mil is crazy for a guy that's going to be on a free transfer in the summer.
agree, but I think in
That's
that
how
situation-
desperate you
in that
guys might be?
situation- Yeah, of course. And it's not just us. There's other teams, but I don't think he would go to any lesser teams.
I mean, for me, it's either between Barca, you guys, and Arsenal, and I just don't see Arsenal making that type of move because they haven't said they're going to do
they
it.
won't.
Barca have Lua, so why would they make it now?
No, yeah.
So I just don't see
Well,
there
they
being
also
that
don't
many
have money.
suitors. But maybe we just rank him way higher than everyone else because we know how awesome he
I've
is.
heard people talking about him. His name is being run around on Twitter, and I love it.
Yeah, he's a prolific goal scorer that actually has technical ability. I don't see why he's not being talked about more, especially with the idea that he could be a free transfer in the summer. Everybody should be like, oh, why wouldn't I want a guy that can put up, 15, 20 goals?
especially the market for strikers right now. There's nobody.
There's nobody.
There
you
isn't.
can get someone like for him for free.
You
That's
get him.
huge.
You can get him for free, or you can pay whatever it's an 80, 90 for whatever other striker is coming around. It
So
just
he's a
doesn't seem.
Canada international. He's just gonna cost you less in general overall.
that's fair. It's fair. Okay, so is David like your number one option if you could bring one in?
I think it's just like, I don't think we can offer him the minutes he deserves. So no, I think like Kyogo Furuhashi that we were talking about in the summer
in the
window
summer.
is probably the best guy that we can bring in, like an alternate style to Holland, older, plus 30, but he still has legs. So it's like he's not going to be demanding minutes, but he could definitely do the job when we need him to fill in. And I think that's the only type of player that you're going to get. You're not going to want someone that is trying to boost their career and continue upward. It's not going to make that move.
Yeah, no, you're right. It'd have to be someone either really young or towards the back end of their prime that is okay with being a bench player on a good team.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. That's why that move makes more sense in the summer for me.
Definitely.
Because then you can actually sell someone on a project. You can't sell someone on a project where Haaland's going to play every game, because he's going to play every game right now, right? Like, and
he could definitely use with.
No, he could use a break, but I don't know if that's going to be afforded with the way that you guys are needing to play. He's going to play every Champions League game.
Anyways, so it's fine, yeah.
Well, he's also not getting service. There's a bunch of overarching problems to that. Do you want to jump into City's summer? Like, I mean, or do we want to
let's go into
United in January? Okay, so if we're jumping into United January, let's start with left wing back, because I think that's we've agreed that's the most important position in terms of what the structure of that new system is.
Yeah. I think the only name that comes to my mind is Anthony Robinson.
Really?
And I I'm in the market. I can't think of any other good left wing backs or left backs.
So I mean, the only issue is I don't think Fulham gets rid of him. Like,
I agree.
They're in like sixth, and
I agree.
it'll cost
I don't
you
really
a
know what the
fortune.
solution is here.
The easy cop out for this is Alfaro Fernandez, the one that we sold
got
to
rid of, yeah.
Benfica because we have a buyback for 20. So if you can sell him on the project and be like, hey, look, like
Benfica left wing backs.
no, you literally all you gotta say is, hey, you want to come back and play for United, and he'll be like, yeah, and then you just sign the papers and he's back, and that's in January, and that's like an immediate fix. But to say that he'll be your left back for the future is an unknown, right? And he's been very good for Benfica, so I don't want to undersell him. Which might be good for him to play in January and get used to the system, and then put him in a lesser role as you go into the summer. But we talked about it a bunch. I just don't know if you could sell him on the project and what his position would be. But I would quadruple or whatever 5 times his wages are for Alphonso Davies. I would genuinely give him whatever money in the world for him to be United's left wing back.
It's not happening in January, though.
It's no way.
He's a free transfer this summer. Yeah. So if you were to tell Bayern, like, look, like we don't know what their situation's like. If you're like, hey, Bayern, here's 20 million for Alphonso Davies.
20 million or nothing in the summer.
Yeah, right. And then they're like, we don't feel like we're confident in him staying. They might say yes, and if you can sell, that's the issue. Is you got to sell Alphonso Davies on what United are, which is 13th.
Yeah,
and that's tough.
I don't think United has too much trouble pulling players still, though, especially with the new system. I mean, it just takes someone who wants a challenge, which is obviously not going to be every single player, and everyone might not be up for that. But I don't think it's a big stretch that we're not in a good place in the table.
And I know that we have the Euro bias recently, but the other place that he goes is Madrid. And can you realistically tell a guy that was at Bayern that he can go and play every game and win and compete for Champions Leagues and Ligas, whatever that means?
Totally, yeah.
So he's the one that I would do whatever to get him. I don't think it happens.
I've heard is it Hernandez from Milan?
Yeah, there's been links recently. I don't think that happens in January.
He's fallen out of favor, is what I've heard. So it's anything is possible.
Anything is possible. This feels, and I feel like we've been through the ringer of this as United fans. We're like, a player and his agent are using United to get a new contract, whether or not the fallout's real or not. Like, I've seen this how many times did Ramos do this?
Like 4.
At least 4 times. I don't see it happening. It feels unrealistic. He'll cost a bunch. Like, Milan knows his value. They're not going to act like they don't.
I think they've lowered his asking price. I think it's gotten to the point where they're accepted that they'll take less money for him just to get a fee for him.
What is less money though? Like 60? Like what is he worth?
I think
60 isn't too bad in this market.
For a left back.
For a left back.
I don't know what left back has gone. To be honest with you,
there's nothing. The market doesn't make any sense anymore. To be honest,
that's fair. He's another player that I'd be okay with.
I think anywhere in the range of 45 to 60 for him is okay.
Yeah,
someone like Maatsen who's not even playing is what? How much did he go for?
25.
Yeah, 25, 30. Like 22, 25, something like that.
He started in a Champions League final last year. That's crazy.
I know he was a starter for Dortmund, and then now he doesn't play. So
why did Villa buy him if they're?
I don't understand.
I still don't understand that. I thought he was going to be starting every game.
It makes no sense.
No,
he's totally a different player from Digne.
Yeah.
Like when you buy someone like that, usually the idea is fucking let him play over Digne.
Yeah.
But now it's like, are you trying to have Digne mold him?
I don't know. They're in a weird spot. Villa are a weird a weird case right now where I can't tell what their direction is.
Yeah, back on topic though.
Yeah. Those are the three guys that I had listed out. I mean, my dream is Alphonso Davies. I'd take him over anyone. An MLS guy, also Canadian, coming in to play for United. I'd literally cream my pants.
Yeah, I like that.
There'd be nothing.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
No, it's not. Which makes Fernandez, for me, make the most sense for January.
He's the most viable option, at least for January.
And I don't know what United's money with PSR and all that stuff is. I'm assuming it's very fucking low.
Probably.
So that one just makes sense because I think he fits. He came from Portugal, or he's in Portugal playing well, and Amram's, Portuguese and all that stuff. So, yeah, those are kind of the guys that I had in my head. Dream, do him in January, and then Alfonso in the summer. But I don't know. The next position is the 10. I think that this is probably the second most critical position to hit on this January. If you can get a guy that can be productive and can score goals, or at least be in that GA conversation, because that's what United are missing. They're now putting up the XG, but not scoring enough goals to be...
No one's clinical.
No. Do you have anybody off the top of your head that you think of and you're like, this 10 could work in the system and be ready to go right away?
No one that's available. Like, there's players that I can think of that would fit super well into the system. I think if we had James Madison, he would be amazing in this system.
Okay.
Random shout, I know, but I think he would be great. I really like the way he plays, and I think he's like kind of more of the type of 10 that we saw in like the early 2010s. That's kind of dying out of the game, and I think that's kind of the type of 10 that fits the system pretty well. But it's a hard position to fill as well. Like it's another one that's kind of rare in this day and age.
It is.
A proper 10 is just hard to come by.
Yeah.
But there's definitely options that I think you guys could get. A little more obscure though. I think Nkunku's really good.
That was the number one guy on my list.
That's a crazy one though.
He's not playing for Chelsea. He wants. It sounds like from the rumors he wants to leave.
I was watching.
Why would Chelsea keep? If Chelsea aren't going to
big wages, I'm sure.
We
I
were
don't
watching
know what it's like.
Yeah, he was their first signing under their new management, so it's definitely big wages.
He was talking about like Nkunku's getting Endrick minutes, like he's coming on like the last 18 minutes of a Premier League game, which is bullshit, bro. That guy is a baller.
He was supposed to be the start of their project.
I know, but like it's unfortunate. I talked to Grant about it yesterday. Like it's an unfortunate situation, but for his sake, he needs to leave.
Yeah, he has to
leave.
leave.
Too good to not be playing week in, week out. So someone like that to just make it'd be a lateral move. Obviously not with the standings, but club wise, I think right now for him, it would be like a lateral move. It wouldn't be up or down, but in the terms of playing every week and actually getting to establish himself, especially in the system, I think he'd thrive.
He was the most sought after attacking player 2 years ago, and
no one talks about him anymore.
He made the move to Chelsea after in January of 2 years ago, and then he got hurt and then fell out of favor.
Yeah.
And Chelsea's squad is so big, and they have a relationship with United and have made things work. And I think the Sancho loan move probably helps that. Mm-hmm. That out. I think that's the perfect player for the system because he scores goals. Yeah. And he puts the ball in the back of the net, and he's still doing that for Chelsea in limited game time. And I know it's the Conference League, but that matters. If you're not playing and then you're getting thrown into the fucking Kakistan.
It's hard to do that too. Just come in after not playing for a while.
And then just immediately be good. Yeah, he makes the most sense. I think that there's a parting of what he's going to be the first player where we're going to see the large Chelsea squad depart because he's upset with no game minutes. There's going to be guys like that, and why would they? I mean, Chelsea are going to have to sell dudes. It's not like they can just keep all these guys.
Unless you're complacent with just getting a wage and sitting on the bench, like I don't.
He doesn't feel like that's
going to be a No, I agree. There's going to be a bunch of players that are going to leave.
At that point, it doesn't make sense for Chelsea to keep him.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So, Nkunku is my number one. The only other one that I had in January that could happen from the Premier League is Cunha, just because Wolves are.
But he's more of a 9, isn't he? Like
I think he's been, but that's kind of what that second 10 is in Amram's system.
Yeah,
it's like a shadow striker.
And he's been really, really good for Wolves, and they still suck. And there's a chance that they get relegated. That's the only thing that would make me want to like wait until the summer is if they get relegated, he's going for pennies on the dollar.
For nothing. But what about a Kudus?
He's not 10 though. He's a winger, isn't he?
I think he'd be exceptional in the
Kudus can
system.
definitely play.
I mean, fuck, West Ham stinks. So, but the issue is he'll cost you.
Signed him instead of Anthony, anyways.
Yeah,
They signed him for $30 million.
how much would Kudus cost in January?
60, 70.
Where are they in the table?
Didn't they pay like
Where
60,
are they?
70
No,
for
they
him?
paid 30.
They paid 30 for him?
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill myself.
This is why the Anthony signing just puts my head on Mars every time I think about it, bro.
I still think he'd cost 80.
West Ham are in 14th.
I just don't think that
Their project is not
That's a lateral-
going
that's a
anywhere,
lateral
bro.
move.
that is a lateral move.
No, but like you guys are united, and where you are now, there is hope of it going upward. This is supposed to be like what they've been building with West Ham.
Yeah,
And it's not going anywhere. Lopetegui was supposed to be a turning point, and he hasn't been.
No, he's been bad.
So it's like what?
I-
I'm looking at this team like
They're not getting relegated is my issue, and if they're not gonna let him go for nothing because they know his
no,
value.
it won't be nothing. You guys will have to pay a little bit. There would be a January premium for him for sure. But like if it's a reasonable price with the premium, then I totally would take it.
I mean, I don't know what the premium would be, but I'm not paying anything over 60 when I think in the summer it would be easier to get him.
No, true. Yeah,
And we
of course.
suck anyway,
But that's,
so, like, I
yeah,
don't
that's
know.
the thing. Is this like what do you? But that's what it comes down to. You were talking about we need to. Both of our teams need to do something.
Yeah,
We
I just don't
can't
think they have the
go-
money for it.
We cannot miss fucking Champions League football. And if you guys want to keep improving your team, you cannot
Yeah,
miss
no,
Champions
no.
League football. So we're in the situation now where we have to spend the fucking big balls. The big dollars.
ball.
The big ball. They gotta spend the big.
I'm
Someone's got to put their nuts on the table and
Yeah.
spend the big balls.
Thank you. Yeah, so like it's all fine and dandy to be like, oh, like I don't want to spend that much money. We're not in the situation right now. Both of our clubs are not in the situation to be like, I don't really feel like spending that. If we need to go get a guy, they need to go get a guy.
Yeah, that's fair.
And all these teams know that, so there's going to be that taxed onto it too. Someone like Nkunku with Chelsea, the way they're going right now, I definitely think they tax on a little bit just because you guys are united.
Yeah,
But there's always a United tax.
Whereas like
Yeah,
with
it's
the
also true.
Sancho thing, I understand what you're saying, but they were doing you a favor in that, if anything.
Yeah, they're just so good as a team that it's working with him. That's how I see Sancho. I don't see him as they're getting some bargain because like they're still paying his wages.
If
and stuff,
anything,
but you're
they
right.
were doing a favor for you guys taking him, and they were taking a chance on him. But
No, fuck them. You know what? We did them a favor. We bought fucking Mount for $70 billion.
that was crazy. That was
No. I've been off of that for a long time, so I don't know why that was a poor decision making move. Okay, so I mean, Cunha.
No,
I said it right.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're good.
fuck. And Kunku, and then Kudus would be like the ideal.
Yeah.
I think any of
I
those.
think Cunha's
if you
number one.
Yeah.
I think so. In January?
Yeah, if you were to get him in January.
January?
I think.
I would try Kudus. This is the most realistic,
Yeah.
I'd say.
Kudus or Nkunku makes sense because I think you could get. You'd have to pay a premium.
think
on
Kudus-
Nkunku would probably be
Kudus
like
is
a
the-
loan in January. It'd be like a
That alone,
Sancho
I'd buy it.
situation.
That'd
That's
be
the thing.
awesome.
Also,
It would be
I
like a
haven't
Sancho
seen
situation, I think.
loans-
In January?
Not just many loans lately, honestly.
Well,
Like
Sancho.
the
Yeah,
bigger
'cause
teams don't
Sancho.
really. I know. There's a couple here and there, but that was like a freak thing that you're trying to.
We did the first year with
You guys had
Ten Hag. We did
Reguilon?
Weghorst, Regulon, Sabitzer. We've had a
That's
fair
true.
few.
Okay, Well, that's 'cause we had
no
they,
money.
They were no obligation
way
to
too
buy
close
us.
to the number.
And Amrabat.
Yeah,
That's
we
true,
had no
that's
money
true.
though.
Okay, yeah,
Didn't
fair
we have it wasn't like a band. We had like
No, we just were poor
yeah.
You just said you guys weren't selling
because we spent
Yeah.
a bunch of money on dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of fucking Anthony.
I hate it. Okay, so I'm okay with any of those options if they're coming.
I think Kudus is the least fitting player of the three.
Most realistic signing.
Most realistic
Yeah.
signing though of the three also.
Yeah.
So in January, Cunha
In
is the
January.
most realistic in general to
Yeah,
be on your
because
guys' squad at some point, but I think that's more of a summer signing like
Yeah.
you were talking about.
He's also been twerking it for United for like all
He
of
has.
summer
He
and
has.
into the season.
He's
And Wolves
begging.
are a mess.
He's
They're a mess.
begging.
They're a mess. The only other thing that could like swap my opinion on this in terms of getting a 10 would be if United went and got a striker and if it was Osimhen.
Yeah.
Because if they get if United are going to go for a striker, and I'm not sold on Gyökeres just because I don't know what he's going to be like in the Prem.
I'm much more sold on Osimhen.
Osimhen is just he's proven that he's there. Napoli don't want him anymore. I bet you they take a discount on him if they could just get off of him and his is it Raiola is his agent? His agent's a mess too. That was the whole reason that he didn't go anywhere this summer.
Is it Raiola?
It might be.
Raiola died.
Yeah.
Oh shit! No. Okay. Sorry. My bad, Raiola. Rest in peace. Sorry, my bad.
I was like, what?
Sorry. His agent is of the same pedigree as Raiola in terms of just like asinine agent fees and all this great stuff. And United have been known to pay that type of stuff anyways. I think if you can get a guy that
totally would pay. Like
he's so
for the reasons that Grant does not want fucking Osimhen, United would totally on like the opposite end of the spectrum just do everything to get him that Grant does not want Chelsea to do, and which is fine.
They're just on a different path.
Totally different, but like fucking go do it. I think you got to go do it.
His mold and his figure is perfect for the Prem. He's proven he can do it in the Champions League. He was elite for Napoli, and he's got like a swag aura about him that like United need. You need guys that get into the shirt and are like, "Yo, I'm the fucking best." That feels like Osimhen. Like I've seen him for Galatasaray acting like he's the best striker in the world, and he's playing for Galatasaray. So, yeah, that makes sense to me. I genuinely think if we got him in January, he could score 15 goals in the second half.
For sure.
Maybe that would be in all comps. Sorry, not in the Prem. Yeah,
kind of.
Okay. Well, that's a good place to stop because that's the last person that I have for January.
Oh, perfect. Nice. Did you have anyone that you wanted to add though?
No, I'm happy with that.
Oh, we could sign David in January as well.
No, yeah, true. So true. That fits a striker.
Yeah, it does. It does fit
fits everyone.
I don't think he.
Yes.
He does.
Okay. Well, Dari, thanks for indulging in this
of course.
Crazy
Thanks,
one.
man.
But
this is a fun one.
We will, let you go. Thanks.
I'll catch y'all later. Thank you.
Pee.
Yeah, I also have to pee, so we'll take a break. Okay, last segment. We're gonna. Well, Dari is gone. That's why his chair is all the way out there. But we're gonna go over the summer signings that we'd like to see United and City make. Do you want to start with United, or do you want to start with City?
You can just start with City real quick.
Yeah,
I think
it's probably less, just because we said that there's 6 in the.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be less because I think we're gonna make 3 signings in January.
Yeah, that's
you guys fair. Are probably only gonna make like 1.
Yeah, it's a whole overhaul with United.
So what we were talking about, we are in January. We talked about a fullback / center back.
Yeah,
I think that's the same for summer. We're gonna get another one of either one of those, depending on what we get in the January window.
Yeah, I mean, do you want for that center back defender player? Do you want like a youth player in that position? Like, is that what would you want like a Euro type signing in the summer, or do you want someone that can come in right away and compete?
I want like a 25-year-old just physical center back, something along those lines. 25 is it?
How old is Jonathan Tah? Is he in that range?
He's like 26 or 27.
Is that I mean, that's the type of player that.
Yes, but I don't think we're gonna get him just because I think he's set for Bayern.
I just think if you threw enough at him and.
He's German.
Yeah, no, he's definitely going to Bayern. But I mean.
Yeah.
It's possible.
But and that's another thing. Like, we historically have done really well with our Bundesliga signings, whereas the rest of the league it's a big no-no to sign these guys. And whereas when we sign them, they become our best fucking players. So
that's fair.
I think we could definitely take a chance on someone like Tah, but it's not like he's an easy one to go for. He's definitely gonna have other suitors. There's gonna be people like Real Madrid that want to go get him. Yeah, especially, I think he's leaving on a free.
Yeah, he is on a free, which makes the Bayern thing make a lot of sense.
Yeah, because they're either the Bayern or he could if Xabi stays, Alonso.
Yeah,
he could totally stay.
He could stay. I mean, it's not like they're a bad team with him.
No. So him, I think Braithwaite is definitly one that
especially with the English thing.
Yeah, the English being a nationality being a big part of that. But with him, he's big. He's
a specimen.
He can play the ball. I think it would be a lot better with him next to someone like a Ruben Diaz. I think he would be able to shine a little more in the stuff that we need him to do.
Yeah. You're going to need English players. He makes a lot of sense. He didn't go last year. I think he'd be at I think his price dropped. I
think we talked about it last episode, but
we did.
His price is dropping every window.
It really is. Look, and if Everton look worse and worse every year, they're not going to be able to hold on to him at whatever price range they want him at.
I think we were giving him a little slack earlier, but you look at their last couple performances. And
yeah, they're right back to being one of the better defenses.
They're doing what they need to do. So I think he could be good with a strong defense around him.
Yeah, Everton need to get rid of money too.
Yeah, I don't want to get him and throw him next to a Kyle Walker though.
No.
So that needs to be addressed before we start bringing in younger players to throw into the back line.
No, that's fair. The other two that I got written down here for City are Gahey and
Gahey definitely.
Because the English thing almost went to Newcastle. I think he'd much rather go to City than Newcastle.
He's also just great on the ball.
He's so good. He's a little smaller in terms of actual like height, but I think that doesn't really matter.
I think it does. Though.
You think that matters if he's next to a Diaz?
We're not good in the air, and if you look at the league, or at least to me, it looks like it's becoming more physical again.
Yeah,
and honestly, a lot of the midfielders are getting bigger. Forwards is a weird spot right now.
Yeah, you got to mix.
Yeah, there's not really anything special going on other than the 5 forwards in the world right now.
Yeah, the
strikers.
Yeah. No, you're right because I do
think
physical.
the successful midfields in the Premier League right now are definitely bigger and stronger than, let's say, our midfield that was a lot more technical.
Yeah.
And you could see that is fucking working. Like we're being outrun, we're getting outgunned.
It's the reason that Bournemouth's midfield looks good. It's the reason that Forest look good. To a certain extent, that's the reason Chelsea's midfield looks so good. Is Caicedo and Lavia are just engines constantly running.
Enzo's been on that too.
Yeah,
lately.
He has been on that.
I think someone like Onana is a good example on Villa.
Yeah, just
the way he controlled
specimen.
the game against us is with his prowess and physical prowess.
He's so big. He's just a tall motherfucker.
Liverpool especially, though, I think their midfield is a good indication of this.
Yeah. Is the best fitting center back then Araujo at Barca?
I love him.
Yeah.
I really want him.
He was on my United short list for center backs.
Yeah, Grant and I were right there when he fucking got hurt recently.
Yeah.
In the summer, but
he's so good.
Watch. He was so good in that game, and the game kind of opened up when he left, so you could definitely see in person and on TV his impact. There's lapse of judgments here and there, but
that comes with the territory.
I don't want him to be my captain. I just need him to be. I need him to be on the team and fucking doing what he does and getting stuck in. And right now, if you look at our squad, there's a lack of that. There's a lack of getting stuck in. Akanji looked fucking scared.
Yeah.
In some of the challenges that he put in last game.
Physical. Kind of a demon. Versatility, can play right back. He's done that before.
Exactly. And honestly, I think he's the perfect player for us to get, because if we want to play that 4 center back lineup and have him at the right back, by all means, he can do that for us. I have no problem with that.
I don't disagree. He's a guy that I've wanted at United for a while. He's been linked there forever. The fact that he's had so many links leaving Barca makes me think that he's on the way out this window.
I would hope so.
I don't know if you agree with that at all.
I don't really know. Barca's a clusterfuck in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
they're always going to be in the media, so
that's true. They're like a United in that sense, where people use them to get more money, and those are the 3 center backs.
The center backs, yeah.
So then, okay, I'll put out my backup 9 here. I mean, Liam Delap has a buyback clause.
Oh, 100%. Does he take that?
I don't see why he wouldn't.
I don't think he takes that.
I mean, he's
in Ipswich right now. He can make an upward move that's not City and get starting minutes.
Yeah,
that's the only thing.
Could. Is he? He's not English, is he? Is he Northern Ireland?
Oh, he's English.
He's English.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Wait, so then, I mean, that fills a hole. There's a buyback clause. I mean, it would be selling him on the project, and
it's also just we just got rid of him. And we're saying, oh, we fucked up. It's a pride thing. So if he wants to come back, I think City take him with open arms. But I don't see him being one of those players that's you know what, I'll come back.
Yeah,
it just doesn't make sense.
Fair. That's also fair because he's played a full year. But I mean, that's also what not loan moves, but those types of moves are for, so that you can get them experience, figure out if they're really the real deal.
Yeah, but that's what you loan people for. The act of just selling someone and throwing in a buyback clause, I think, sits weird with some of the players.
That's true.
Where it's oh, we don't value it enough to keep you, but if we fuck up, here's a little insurance for us. Where it's oh, I don't care about your insurance. I don't want to play for you anymore. You said I'm gone. You didn't want me.
Yeah. I mean,
that's how I think about it.
I just don't know what other move that is currently in the Premier League that makes sense for him to go to.
Arsenal.
Oh fuck! Yeah, I
Be
guess
a
so.
monster.
I get, but Arsenal don't
Would be
want
a
to spend money
monster.
on strikers.
They
They
wouldn't
just
have
don't
to
want
spend
to.
that much on him. They're just stubborn. So
Yeah, that's why I won't.
we're
It's
giving you the
thing.
keys, lads, and you don't want to listen.
Seeing is believing is kind of where I'm at with that. KDB replacement was the next one that I wanted to hit.
KDB replacement,
because that's important.
Musiala or Wirtz, who I think we are not gonna get.
Those are the two. Those are the top two on mine.
Those are the two that we are
Wirtz and
not gonna get.
Musiala.
Neither of them are coming to City at this point. I think
Olmo. I thought he was gonna go there before he went to Barca.
we've had links with him for years, and Barca decided to pull the trigger, and they're reaping the benefits. But if they can't keep him, then I'll fucking
take him.
Yeah.
Do you have anybody in mind that isn't the two that probably aren't going there? I mean, I think Wirtz could happen. I don't know why he would. Where else would he go?
Real Madrid.
But Real Madrid, like you said, they can't have everyone.
They can't. But they will try. They will most certainly try.
Kudos.
But it's just like it's another one where it's like he's not really the fit, but he's definitely the most attainable, and he is kind of in that middle ground for me for that City player, if he were to be a City player. Where
the only thing that makes sense in my head for that, like the Kudus move, is it forces Foden into being the KDB replacement and asking him to take that on. But I don't think that's him.
He's a
either.
dribbler. I think it's become very clear recently that he's still a creator, but it's with dribbling.
It's with the ball at his feet,
it's
staying
the ball
with his
at his
feet.
feet, in his feet.
Yeah.
And his movement, almost as a secondary striker in some ways. Where I was saying, they don't play him into those positions. They don't look. It's the same way they don't look for Haaland. So it's like he's suffering from the lack of creativity like Haaland is. Whereas we need someone like a passer. That's where the Bruno G deep line playmaking would come into handy a lot.
Changing the play style a little bit from being like this
just
KDB
playing it
hole.
deeper. Someone to play the through balls. We have no one that plays through balls right now.
Yeah, that's fair. The natural fits are the ones that you just said.
Yeah, definitely. I don't even think Musiala is like a natural fit.
No,
honestly.
he's just really fucking
cool.
good, huh?
Really good. But Wirtz makes sense. It's impossible to replace.
No, it is.
KDB.
Yeah, no, there's no one else in my head that really comes to mind other than the four that we talked about, because they're all exceptional players, and to fill that hole, it's going to be a collective thing.
For sure. And then I don't know. The last one I think is goal scoring winger.
Oh, I do want to touch on goalie too.
Oh, goalie.
But let's do winger first.
I've heard. We can just do goalie real quick. Honestly,
who's been talked about?
The Juve goalie. That's it.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Exactly.
I was going to say Costa.
Oh, I've heard Costa
because he's been linked forever.
Every team that needs a goalie, they throw Costa around, and he still hasn't gone. So
did I have anyone else in this for City? Donnarumma, because he's out of contract in 2026, and there's been talks about him leaving. But he's terrible with his feet, isn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know what terrible with his feet is as a goalie.
I haven't really seen him play in a while since he's moved to
PSG.
Yeah. So it's hard for me to talk on that. Just the reception he's gotten from a lot of
people,
fans,
it's not great.
It's not great. So
it sounds like he wants to go back to Italy too. Though I just put him in there because he's a big name.
But we were talking about, like we were saying, if goalies do leave this season, I think it's going to be Ederson.
And then Ortega just goes into the starting role.
I think it'd be a lot more difficult to go sign a starting goalkeeper and a backup goalkeeper in one window or two windows.
Yeah, and then
sign a backup keeper and then Ortega. When you can run Ortega one more year, have a backup keeper set in, and then go get a starting keeper the next year, it'll be fine.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, so then the Juventus goalie makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
and they've been the definition of mid. So.
Undefeated, though.
Undefeated, but mid. Okay, then the goal scoring winger.
Yeah. I just output winger at this point.
Kudus.
Kvara has been linked for a while now.
Yeah, and he's really good.
I know he's had some ups and downs at Napoli.
Yeah, but it's a different system now because of Conte.
I think Nico Williams
He's not a prolific goal scorer though.
Not prolific goal scorer, but the way that he operates, I could totally see him opening up chances for Holland in our system.
But does he change anything than like a Doku? Like, do you think that that's any different, or would he have to play on the right too? Like, is Doku? I mean, we didn't really talk about him all. Is he staying?
He's staying.
Okay.
But you have to. I think a lot of people forget that Doku's like 21.
Yeah, that's
he's
fair.
Super young still. He's not. He should not be our starting winger. He should be getting worked into the team with an experienced winger in front of him, and that's definitely the difference between where we are now and where we are before in the winger department, is that we had experience in that department before, and now we have Bernardo Silva, who's
that's not cutting it,
and Grealish, who's not really a winger. So I don't know. We don't have an experienced winger. So is it G&A or is it just experience at this point? But we have nothing going on the right side. So
you just need someone who can play consistent week in, week out, and create impact on the game, whether or not that's
output,
with
goals or assists. It doesn't matter whether they're scoring it or helping you score it or getting a hockey pass, for all I care.
It just needs to be something.
There needs to be creativity. Yeah.
Oh, like what about like a Mbuemo? Does that like strike you as something that could happen? He's younger. He's been prolific for Brentford.
It's possible.
It's in the he's prem proven. I just don't know if he'd be good in the Champions League.
I have no clue, honestly. I didn't even think about Mbuemo.
Another person that came to mind because he's English, and we were talking about how you guys need English players, is Anthony Gordon. But he's left-sided. That's why Mbuemo made a lot of sense, is because he plays off the right. But then you guys have Oscar, Bob, and Savinho. So there's just so many talented players that it's currently not clicking, and that could click next year. Those were the guys in the Prem that I thought of.
Yeah. Personally, I think Kvaratskhelia is the one I want.
Yeah, he's really, really good.
He'd be good. Little Georgian connection from some of our older players, but
he's ready for a step up too, and that City would be a massive step up.
Yeah, he just needs a change of scenery at this point. I'm getting stale of seeing him in Napoli.
Yeah, the system doesn't fit him. You can tell. That's why his output's not been as good. Yeah.
I think we can move on to United though.
Yeah. Okay. So we hit on left wing back, Cam. I think any of those guys that we talked about are good. In the summer, if you were to get a striker, it'd be, if you didn't get a O.C. man, it would be Gyökeres, because I think you got to take the chance, and he's worked with the manager, and he's good, regardless of what I think. Definitely. I guess a center back is needed because United are probably going to see 3 of them leave this summer. And so the question is who and what. I'm not entirely sure. I think that's like kind of the one position where I think Mazraoui comes back and is like a backup center back, and I think Shaw ends up being a center back. And so that's like the least of my worries in the overhaul of the team. And so I don't really see them doing a whole lot in the summer unless it's some Euro type.
I think you have to sign experience there. You can't buy any more young center backs.
Yeah.
At least
but
some
like,
experience, at least.
Because you've got Delict and sorry, someone that's played real minutes.
24, yeah.
Yes.
Like played starting minutes in one of the top leagues, but doesn't necessarily need to be like a super established player.
Yeah, I didn't even write center back, so I don't have any off the top of my head that I can think about.
I don't think that's a big area of need for you guys at the moment.
No. The goalie was the same thing. Like, I think Onana's he can make it work.
For you guys.
Yeah.
I think it would probably have to be an 8 or 6.
Yeah, 8 or 6.
Maybe defensive 8 on that regard. I think it would probably be similar to what we were talking about for City.
Yeah, but I don't think they can afford to spend that much money. But the one that was linked to both United and City, like for the last 2 windows, has been Ederson.
That's what I was going to say.
From Atalanta.
He's a little younger, not as good on the ball from what I've heard. I haven't really watched him play,
I don't know anything about him.
From what I've heard from other people is that he's not as good as the ball as some of the other guys we're looking at, but very active, very physical, and like both of our teams could use that.
Yeah.
It's basically a refresh on Casemiro for you guys, and it's basically like what I said earlier. It's what we need in our team.
Yeah. I think that it's worth poking around at Madrid for either Camavinga or Tchouaméni, even though you have Ugarte who's played well, but like either of those guys
both of Camavinga and Tchouaméni going, but I do think Camavinga is going to ask for more money.
I'd be okay with paying him
more money. Yeah,
I'd be okay with paying that. Like that makes sense in that 8 role.
Scare me.
Yeah, but
they're not
United
bad
need
injuries.
I don't know if they need a risk,
consistent.
but they are consistent. The other ones that I had written down were I can't even pronounce the guy's name. He's Danish and he plays for Sporting. That's just one of those like manager brings in a guy. And then the last one was Adam Wharton. I don't know what Palace. I don't know how much it would cost to get Adam Wharton. I was gonna bring him up for City too.
We were looking at him, but it's another one that doesn't really make sense for me. He hasn't really played that much minutes in the league.
That's why I think that if he was to go to United, it'd make a lot of sense because him and Mainu would be the swapping there and that 8 goal.
Okay.
And
so
so
they
like
wouldn't be playing together. They'd be playing.
They would be essentially swapping minutes until maybe they can play together because
Okay,
neither of
that
them
makes
are sixes, and so you can kind of
You need
adjust
someone
that.
with the both of them being so young. I feel like you need someone that's established somewhat to be that anchor next to them.
Yeah,
Let
that's
them
why
make their mistakes. Let
Yeah.
them learn, and not have to fucking have so much pressure on their shoulders.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is like
Yeah.
why like we should have brought in not a necessarily a replacement for Rodri, but someone that could play alongside him,
Right.
and then get him up to speed to where he can replace Rodri when we need him to.
Yeah, because
And
every
we
player
fucked up
gets
in
older.
that regard.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that makes the Ederson one make the most sense then.
Ederson would be good for you guys. It's kind of, I think it would be good. I think it
Yeah.
would be like a fresh Casemiro, not as good overall,
not
but
as good.
it obviously can develop.
You can turn this. Amarim can turn him into a player.
Mhm.
I agree. The other position I think that needs to be addressed is right wing back because I do think Ahmed's best position is the 10.
Yeah, I don't think Ahmad should be playing at right wing back.
No, I think if you're
he's filling a hole right now.
Yeah, if you're contending for titles, that he's in your 10. He's not in your wing back position. And the glaring obvious one that has been talked about for 2 windows again is Frimpong.
Everyone should go for Frimpong.
His release clause is like $40 million.
It doesn't make sense.
Why is he not on a better team? In this system with the wingbacks in his production, it makes so much sense.
Oh, it
it should
definitely
already
makes
be
sense.
it should already be talked about. They should already have a deal in place to get him. They could get him in January for all I care, and it makes sense. Pay a premium, it doesn't matter. The other two I had in there were Porro, if you could pry him away from Spurs, which Levy is a hard customer to get, and it won't happen. And the other one was Tim Weah. I'm getting my U.S. pump in here because I think that he's really good. He's played in that position at Lille. I think he can be a really productive right wing back because he's got a shot on him. He's good at crossing and he's blistering fast. And I think he'd
just
work
want
in
to
the Prem.
bring in people close to David so you can.
Yeah, so I can say that.
so you can bring in David.
I also just love the U.S.
No, I know.
and the U.S. Sorry, not love the U.S. I love the USMNT, and he's like my favorite player in the USMNT. So those are the 3 that I have. Frimpong makes so much sense on all fronts. The fact that United didn't do it this
Everyone
summer.
should sign him, even if he doesn't fit in your team, is what I think.
Yeah, I'm
I don't
gonna
think
say.
he'd fit as a right back replacement, but I think we should totally sign him.
Yeah, why
Why
not?
not?
He's 40.
He's also from
so
our
good.
team. Bring him home.
Yeah, that dumb. I think that when we talked about the left wing back for United as well, it's if it's not Alphonso Davies and you miss out on Tion Hernandez, the left back for Bournemouth.
Kirkez?
Yes,
He's very good.
Him or
he could probably compete for that spot with the guys that you were naming earlier.
yeah, he's so good and he's so young. He fits like the profile of what United are going for. El Neni? No.
The Wolves?
Yes.
Nori?
El Nori. Thank you.
Yeah, he's good.
He could be another one that you could get in January.
It
I
would
just don't
definitely
s-
work
I don't
for you
think
guys. He would work for you guys' system really
Yes.
well.
I just
Very
don't think he's
attacking,
as-
terrible defensively.
Out of those 5 guys that I listed, he's probably 5th for me in the summer.
Going
Sorry.
forward, though, I think
He's really good.
He's really good compared to some of those guys. He's probably at not the top, but towards the top of that list. Defensively, though, is where he drops off. He's like a 7 out of the 5 guys.
Yeah, but if
on
you've
that
got
list.
3 center backs behind him, it'd probably be all right.
No, that's what I'm thinking. But it also depends who you have at the other wing back.
Wing back, right? If Mazzarari's playing that other wing back, it's probably fine.
He's been getting cooked.
No, I
lately.
don't like him at the wing back.
He's getting cooked.
He's a right center back.
I feel bad, but
He's also been our best player for
I know.
multiple
He's been,
weeks.
that's
yeah.
why I haven't been like, oh, he's getting cooked. But like I've been watching, and he's getting it thrown around the pitch.
Yeah, he's not a right wing back.
No,
he's not a right wing back.
I also think it's just matchups. Like when he's playing some of these trickier guys, he needs to not be trying. He shouldn't be marking them.
No, he shouldn't. He's class on the ball though, so it like works. He's filling a role.
Yeah.
Is that it? Right wing back, left wing back, striker we talked about. Oh, probably another 10.
Yeah, but it's like it's gonna be the same guy. It'd probably be like a A backup 10, right?
Yeah, one that can compete with the other two 10s if like Nkunku was not to be brought in. The other ones that like came to mind were Morgan Gibbs White. Mm-hmm. Feel like he just plays like I feel like a United player should.
Nottingham, though.
Yeah, Eze has been linked for a while. Might be another Mount. But I'd like him. It wouldn't be like if he was not super expensive, I'd be okay with it.
Like he would have been bought by now. Everyone was talking about him for like 2 years straight, and no one went and got him.
Yeah.
And,
he's 26, right? 27.
He's not that. Yeah, he's not that old. It's not
Yeah.
an age thing. I think there's something about him that they don't want to purchase him.
Yeah. The last player I had, and the 10 or the striker. This is the versatility aspect, and it's probably not going to be a fan favorite, but I'd love to see United bring in Heung-min Son.
Yeah, why was that? Why?
I don't know because apparently people don't like it, but it makes so much sense to me.
It'd be perfect. Either the
He's a
10
free in
or
the summer.
Oh Jesus!
He's a free
I've
in the
heard
summer.
these links. I don't see why you wouldn't take that.
United they need fucking goals to get them through periods, and he's the best.
You have that Korean.
We do have the
love,
Korean.
Yeah, love.
we
Team,
do.
Like, bring it back.
I'd love to have. I'm a huge fan of him, and I don't think everyone's drop off on what he is as bad as it really seems. Because I think the Spurs are just a bad team too, and I think he can be.
Well,
really good.
I think we've talked about it plenty of times on the pod. Grant's touched it a lot. Is that playing at that touchline wing position that he's asked to do sometimes for Spurs makes him look not as good as he really is.
Yeah.
And then also, to your point, the people around him are not that good, and a lot of the time,
yeah.
It's a lot of pressure on his shoulders. If he were to come in to do a fill-in
job,
job, but just like we don't need you to be perfect in the striker role or the 10 role, but just do your role in both positions, then I think he could thrive. Play
once a week, just bag goals, and look, United are making chances right now under the Zamram system, like right at the top of the box. Mm-hmm. I don't know if there's many other players in the Prem that I would want with that shot at the top of the box.
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sold on him. That makes the most sense to me. And he's free. If he's free, man, fucking just do it. It's a couple people that are like, why aren't these guys already gone? So weird.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah. Wow. So is that the end of our therapy session?
I think so. I
Cool.
don't feel any better.
I don't feel any better either. You know what that just said is it just made us feel like everything else was so much worse. Like, oh, our teams are really, really bad right now.
Yeah,
And we need so many changes. Cool. Well, from me and Mila, and thanks to Dari for jumping in here. This has been a Clash of Clubs live in-person
Therapy session.
Manchester Derby therapy session. Thanks for watching and listening.
Words for him. Different gravy. Glorious goal! Wreathed in red. We're really seeing the most extraordinary finish here. On this day of days, has he delivered? Just magnificent! Potentially life-changing. That's football. Minute you let it under your skin, then you begin to make it better.